Hi everyone. Now let us begin with the next session. I hope the first two sessions was clear with everything. You were clear with first two sessions. And today we will look into immunology, where we will look in detail about few aspects on which more questions were asked, and superficially on those in which the questions were not much asked on. So yes, here we will begin with a question which asks about which of the following statement is incorrect regarding. So we have question about primary and secondary immune responses. So to know about or to answer this question, we should first know about what is primary and what is secondary immune response, right? So let us begin with the very chapter, that is immunity, where immunity can be either innate or acquired immunity. Where innate immunity is innate, it is inborn immunity. So which is present from birth is innate, that is inborn immunity. Acquired, obviously it is acquired on exposure to antigen. So when you are exposed to an antigen, then the immunity is called as acquired immunity. So what are the components of innate immunity as well as acquired immunity? So I'll tell you the components of acquired immunity. So one is the T cells. T cells are all acquired immunity. Then we have B cells, which are of acquired immunity. Then it is antigen presenting cells. Wherever you come across APC, that means they are antigen presenting cells. And next we have classical complement pathway. So classical complement pathway. So these constitutes the acquired immunity components. Whereas all others which you read in immune response are your innate immunity components, that is your anatomical barrier, then physiological barrier, then all your phagocytes and the cytokines which are produced by this, all are acquired immunity. But what is most important for us is what T and B cells will come under your innate immunity. So we studied that T and B cells are that of acquired immunity, right? Then which T cells and B cells are that of acquired immunity, innate immunity? Under innate immunity, the T and B cells are, one is called as the gamma delta T cells. So the gamma delta C cells are the components of innate immunity, where they are present in gut mucosa. So they are present in gut mucosa and they are component of innate immunity. Second one, a B cell, which is a component of innate immunity, is called as B1 cell. So this B1 cells, which is present in the peritoneal cavity, is again an innate immunity component. And third one, something called as marginal B cells. So marginal B cells, where these marginal B cells are present at the edge of the lymphoid follicle, and these are also components of innate immunity. So the T and B cells which are components of innate immunity are gamma delta T cells, which are present in gut mucosa, B1 cells which are present in peritoneal cavity, then we have marginal zone B cell, which is present at the edge of the lymphoid follicles. All these are the components of innate immunity. Then the most probable question that is also asked is, what about the natural killer cells? So we have something called as natural killer T cells, a type of cells, natural killer cells, and these are the components of innate immunity. So these are the component of innate immunity. So this is about the innate and acquired immunity. So natural killer cells, innate immunity, and these are the special cells which belongs to innate immunity. So next, I'm in acquired immunity. Acquired immunity is in turn classified into active and passive immunity. What do we mean by active? Here the immune system is activated. The immune system is activated in acquired immunity, whereas in passive immunity we are not activating the immune system. We are not activating the immune system in case of passive immunity. And again, this active as well as passive immunity is in turn classified into natural and artificial. So both active as well as passive immunity are in turn classified into natural and artificial. So what do we mean by natural active immunity? So natural active immunity is any infection. So when we get any infection, naturally our immune system is activated, and then immune system will produce the required effect. What do we mean by artificial active immunity? Any vaccines that we give. So these vaccines, what they do, again they will activate the immune system and then they produce the effect. Therefore, these are the examples of naturally occurring infection. Artificial is any vaccines. Then passive, which one is passively acquired without activating the immune system? Something from mother to baby. So whatever immunity we get from mother to baby, it is an example of passive. We are not doing anything and it is naturally coming from mother to baby. What do you mean by artificial passive immunity? Anytime we give immunoglobulin. So we give immunoglobulin at some situations where there is emergency, and when we directly transfer immunoglobulin, then it is acquired as well as artificially acquired immunity. So this is about acquired immunity. So this whole chapter of immunity, we should study the differences between various things. The questions are asked about these differences. So innate we already know it is from birth, whereas this is during lifetime we get it. So immune response occurs in minutes. So it can be any phagocytic cells or the physiological or anatomical barrier attacks within no time. Whereas for activation of immune response, it takes some days, about 3 to 5 days. Based on the infection, it takes some days in case of adaptive or acquired immunity. Prior exposure to antigen is not required, so we do not require prior exposure to antigen sensitization and all, but however this happens following antigenic exposure. So here the memory is absent, so please note there is nothing like memory. Every time you are exposed to any antigen, the response is non-specific and it is having no memory. So it is non-specific, the same type of response happens. Whereas here every time the response is specific. Based on the antigen, the specific antibody is produced. So it is specific and also memory will be present following acquired immunity. And here the host cell receptors are all the host cell, that is all the phagocytic cells will have receptor which is called as Toll-like receptor, where this Toll-like receptor will detect the antigenic thing which is present on the microbe. So it can be your lipoteichoic acid, or it can be peptidoglycan layer of a gram-positive bacteria, or it can be lipopolysaccharide layer of a bacteria. So like this, which is generally present in any bacteria. So those microbial antigens which are general, present in most of the organisms, will be detected by this Toll-like receptors and they act. Whereas here the receptors are very much specific. So the host cell receptors are specific. Only a particular antigen can bind to its specific receptor. So the receptors are specific in case of acquired immunity. Then, as we said, the acquired immunity can be active and passive. What did we see here? Active, the immune system. So the immune system is actively involved. Here, we do not involve the immune system actively. So we are giving immunoglobulins ready-made. So you can also call it as passive immunity, as ready-made immunity also. So by naturally infection, artificially vaccination, naturally by mother, and artificially by ready-made immunoglobulins being given. And yes, obviously when the immune system is activated, again the memory cells will be produced, therefore it is long lasting, whereas this is only till that immunoglobulin binds to its specific antigen. It is short lived. So passive is short lived. Active, and when we are active only we will have long life, right? So it is long lasting immunity. There is something called as lag period. This is the time taken for the activation of immune system. Activation requires some days, and that is the lag period. Whereas here no lag period, because you are directly giving anything ready-made to eat also. There is no cooking time. We eat immediately, no. So there is no lag period here. Similarly, there is no memory here. Here the memory is present, and because of the memory component also being present, booster doses are useful in active immunity, but not so useful in case of passive immunity. And as here there is negative phase may occur, here there is no such negative phase. We will see about what is this negative phase when we speak about the secondary and primary immune response. And this active immunity, obviously if there is an infection in immunodeficient individual, it is of no use. The person cannot respond by producing an immune response. Therefore, in immunodeficient individuals, it is not useful. Obviously, when an immunodeficient individual needs protection, if we give it in a ready-made way, it will be effective. So that is about the passive immunity. So next, primary immune response is the response which happens when an antigen is being exposed for the first time. So it is the primary challenge of the antigen, that is primary immune response. When the same antigen is exposed subsequently, the response we produce is called as secondary. So primary is first time antigen challenge, secondary is subsequent challenge of the same antigen. Same antigen or subsequent exposure is called as secondary immune response. So it takes really little longer time for its activation, and however the primary response lasts for short duration. So you will know that in a primary response, what we say, IgM is the first antibody produced in dengue, and this IgM lasts for few days, whereas IgG, which is produced in a chronic case as a secondary response, it will last for longer days. So here the effect is longer, so it is long lasting, it is usually prolonged, and the lag period is almost nil here, but here there is lag period. We say that usually it takes about 5 to 6 days for the antibody to appear. Okay, and no negative phase. What do you mean by negative phase? Whatever is the level of the antibody initially, in the first few days itself it decreases off in case of secondary immune response, because there is already antibody produced and this will go and bind to the antigen at the first go itself. So that is the negative phase, which happens in only secondary immune response. It will not happen in primary immune response. And the antibody is IgM type. It is in low titers, very less level, and please note, in primary response its affinity, avidity is nothing but almost equal to affinity. Its affinity is less in primary response, whereas the antibody produces high titer IgG type and it has more avidity. This point is something important. IgM less avidity, here IgG and more avidity in secondary immune response. So here antibody is produced by the mature B cells also called as nevi B cells, and here obviously it is the memory B cells which produces the antibodies. And here both T dependent and T independent antigens are processed. Here only T dependent antigens are processed. We will study about the same later. So this is the difference between primary and secondary immune response. There is little time taken, more is in primary. It is IgM type, it is of less avidity, low titer and no negative phase. Whereas secondary, there is negative phase, high titer IgG which lasts for longer and more affinity. Secondary, more affinity will be there in secondary immune response.
To watch the full video, download our app on App Store and Play Store.